John Stockton is a self-made player. Beginning with his schoolboy days in Spokane, Washington, he has shaped, molded, and formed his game. Along the way, he's etched his name in the NBA record books. No one in the history of the league has dished out more assists. No one has more career steals. And last season, it was Stockton's shot that sent Utah to its first ever NBA Finals. Again Wednesday night, with Karl Malone searching for his A-game, there was Stockton to hit the game winner. For 14 seasons, the ultimate NBA prize has eluded him. He's too reserved to say it, but you can see the hunger in John Stockton's eyes. This may be the last chance. It's almost certainly the best chance. Game 2, next.
This is the NBA on NBC. The 1998 NBA Finals. Tonight, it's Game 2. The Chicago Bulls versus the Utah Jazz.
Major decibel levels being reached at the Delta Center even before tip-off. And with the Jazz up 1-0 in the series, the trends point their way. They have now won 7 consecutive playoff games dating back to the San Antonio series, while the Bulls have lost 4 of their last 6 playoff encounters, including the last 4 games on the road. Hello and welcome to Game 2, everybody. I'm Bob Costas. Perhaps more to the point, Utah is 3-0 this year against Chicago. 2 regular season wins, and then Game 1 on Wednesday night. Is fatigue a factor for Chicago, especially for Michael Jordan? As great as he is, he's only human, and he is 35 years old. They played 7 tough games against Indiana. In Game 1 here, Utah threw 6 different defenders at him, and most importantly, he had to play 46 of the 53 minutes in an overtime game. He scored 20 points in the first half, but look how many shots he had to ultimately take to wind up with 33. And as has been the case at various times in the playoffs, as the game moved along into the fourth quarter and into overtime, his shooting percentage fell. He shot just 3 of 8 in the fourth quarter and in OT. We're joined now by Isaiah Thomas and by Doug Collins. Great as he is, Michael needs help.
Well, Bob, everybody knows the Bulls offense goes through Michael Jordan. He had a terrific first half in Game 1. 8 of 14, 20 points. Utah did not do a good job double-teaming in the post. In the second half, they came aggressively with the big man, a critical shot clock violation in the fourth quarter. So he's going to need help from Scottie, Pippen, and Toni Kukoc. They shot only 11 for 31, 2 of 12 from the three-point line. Those guys must be better tonight. Chicago, only 14 assists, very uncharacteristic. They usually move the ball better than that. 15 turnovers that gave them 21 points, and look, only 9 offensive rebounds. The Bulls know they can play better, and they're going to have to, or they're going to be looking at a 2-0 deficit going back to United Center. Bob?
Because it's almost certain, Zeke, that Utah will play better. They managed to survive and win in overtime on their home floor in Game 1 without Karl Malone providing his usual contribution.
And Bob, when you talk about the Utah Jazz, it starts and it ends with John Stockton and Karl Malone. They went early to Malone in the post, trying to get his rhythm. Malone struggled a little bit. You see him backing down Dickey Simpkins here, but really couldn't get it going. Stockton stuck with his big man and got him involved on the fast break. But when the game got tight, Stockton's offense took over. He put the Utah Jazz on his back. Now, when you look at the Utah Jazz, Hornacek and Malone struggled, going 11 of 35 from the field. But it was the play of the point guards that kept the Jazz involved. Eisley and Stockton combined for 32 points and 14 assists. Now, if the Utah Jazz is to play better tonight, Karl Malone is going to have to shoot the ball much better than he did in Game 1. He was only 9 of 25 from the field. I expect Carr to come out and have a big night tonight. Bob?
You know, even though he did struggle, he did hit 4 big baskets late, 2 dunks and a couple of jumpers. So maybe the mailman is like the Postal Service. He always delivers, even if sometimes it is a little late. We'll get to Hannah Storm and Bill Walton when we come back. Game 2 is just around the corner.
Welcome back to Salt Lake City. Hannah Storm along with Peter Vesey, John Sally, and Bill Walton. The Chicago Bulls coming off an overtime loss here on Wednesday night, during which Michael Jordan played 46 minutes, and that was coming on the heels of a long trip out here to Utah and a very physical 7-game series with the Pacers. How much will fatigue be a factor tonight for Michael?
Hannah, Michael Jordan is the only athlete I've ever seen who truly has gotten better with age, maintaining his incredible physical talents while his mental and skill components have matured. But for the first time in Game 1, there were signs of fatigue, signs of being 35 years old. This year, Michael played more minutes than any year since 1990, and his shooting percentages were significantly lower than last year.
Although we should point out he played so many minutes because Scottie Pippen was injured at the start of the season. Those minutes did taper down by the end of the regular season.
And Hannah, I can't understand anybody that can count Michael Jordan out of any situation. This is the same guy that carried the Bulls to 5 championships, and he was so tired last game that he had 33 points. And last year in the finals in Game 5, he had the stomach flu and he had 38 points. And Bill, I got to take offense because, you know, I'm almost 35 years old and I'm just getting started.
John, wait till you're 45 like me or 55 like Peter. Another problem for the Bulls is that the attributes which have separated them from the rest of the league are now the same characteristics that describe the Utah Jazz: chemistry, mental toughness, versatility, and intelligent physical defense. This requires Chicago to capitalize on the advantages that it does have. Either Michael Jordan or Scottie Pippen will be guarded by an injured Jeff Hornacek. That must be Chicago's point of attack. Chicago's bigger perimeter players must rebound the ball. The Bulls missed 48 shots on Wednesday night and only retrieved 9 of those misses. Then Ron Harper must get more time on John Stockton. Harper had a limited role and Stockton absolutely killed his replacement Steve Kerr. The Bulls' best lineup, in my opinion, Rodman, Kukoc, Pippen, Jordan, and Harper, they only played a total of 3 minutes together. That's inexcusable. But these are all just numbers. Chicago appeared to play with a nonchalant attitude, without edge, hunger, or anger. Whatever, their offense will have to be dramatically improved because Utah will now get back into its game rhythm. This game is critical for Chicago. The road back from 0-2 is uphill, incredibly steep, and very, very long.
Bill, I got to apologize to you. I agree as far as Harper's concerned.
Peter, you're going to lose all your credibility.
Well, I'll take that risk. Harper only played 24 minutes in Game 1, but he was still able to get 6 rebounds, shoot 2 for 4 from the field, and hold Stockton to 8 of his 24 points. Clearly, containing and controlling Stockton is essential for the Bulls if they're going to deadlock this series at 1-1. Stockton is the only player, once the defense gets tough, that can get his shot or get shots for his teammates. They sacrificed defense in Game 1 over offense. This time they got to put the clamps on Stockton.
And Peter, they didn't even get any offense from Steve Kerr. Their plan is to stay at home on Kerr, not leave him to double team Michael Jordan. So Kerr only managed to get off 3 shots in Game 1. None of those was even a 3-pointer. Now, coming up at halftime, we've got a very special visit with Karl Malone. The mailman allowed Jim Gray and our camera crew a chance to see his palatial house in the hills overlooking Salt Lake City. The native of Louisiana built his dream house last year, and there's certainly plenty of room to roam, the better to accommodate the newest member of the Malone family. Carly was born just 1 week ago today.
What do you like about Daddy being at home?
I like playing dollies.
You like playing dollies? Daddy played dollies too, see?
Outside around your pool, there's some stones that are engraved. Peace, joy, happiness, love. Why are they out there?
They're out there because that's us. That's our family. We have a lot of people come over. And that's one of the spots that everybody always look at. Or when you walk in our front door, you can look out there and see that. And that's a piece of us. And that's who we are as a family. And when our friends come over, they have an opportunity to see that because that's what we mean.
A side of Karl Malone rarely seen. We'll have it for you at halftime. Also, a 74-year-old Bulls fan shooting for $2 million million at halftime. Well, Karl Malone and his teammates have won 7 straight playoff games, while Michael Jordan and the Bulls have lost 4 straight playoff road games. We're closing in on the tip-off of Game 2. We'll send it back to Bob Costas, Doug Collins, and Isaiah Thomas for the call. The NBA Finals continue on NBC right after these messages.
The beauty of the Wasatch Mountains as we look at tonight's starting lineups for Game 2. For their first 3 titles in this decade, this is how dominant the Bulls were. They were 8-1 in the finals on the road against the Lakers, the Trailblazers, and the Suns. But since then, only 2-5 on the road in the finals. They lost 2 out of 3 at Seattle, lost 2 out of 3 last year here in Utah, and of course lost Game 1 of this series at the Delta Center. They were still able to win the championships against the Sonics and the Jazz the previous 2 years. Will it be the same this time around for Phil Jackson? Here's Jerry Sloan's lineup, and he has one of the deepest teams in the league. These are the starters, but his bench is so important. The bench outscored Chicago in Game 1, 22-8. Unlike the Bulls situation, where Phil Jackson is unlikely to return, Jerry Sloan has agreed in principle with Jazz owner Larry Miller on a new deal. He'll be around for a while. And here's Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Bob. As always, I spent some time in the Bulls locker room, and even though they lost Game 1, they are still loose and very confident. Michael Jordan says the pressure in the game tonight is all on Utah. He says they have been able to make game-to-game adjustments very well in the past. They hope to do it this time. Now, there's been some controversy out here in Utah about Dennis Rodman being a distraction. Michael said that is not the case. With all the distractions they've had all year, they refuse to have any distractions at this point. Their focus is winning an NBA championship. Let's go down to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. Well, I spoke to several of the Jazz players, and they say basically the past couple of days, Jerry Sloan has treated them as though they have lost Game 1. He said we need to have much better execution on our entire offensive sets. We need to run the pick and roll much better. We got a better team defense. As for Michael Jordan, they plan to attack him from many different directions again tonight. Bob?
All right, Jim, and listen to them roar at the Delta Center as the Jazz control the opening tip. Malone wastes no time and overshoots it. Harper takes the rebound. Malone just 9 of 25 in Game 1, misses his first one tonight. Pippen had it poked away by Russell, regains it, but eventually loses it to Hornacek. Stockton on the move, got it.
Well, Stockton picks up right where he left off in Game 1. And interesting, it looked like they went into the post to Harper against Stockton early in this game.
Hornacek on Michael, fade away, ties it at 2.
Jordan had Hornacek in the post. The double team came too late, and Jordan faded away to the baseline for the easy J.
Stockton to Hornacek, left hand, no. Pippen accelerating. Double pumps and banks it home. Had to pull it back to let the defenders sail by and had the body control to do it. Hornacek to Malone.
That's the play they worked on in practice. They were not patient and made the pass to the top in Game 1. They made the extra pass, high-low. Malone had him sealed right underneath the basket.
Pippen bounces to Kukoc. And eventually it's Russell as they knocked it away from Toni twice.
Now Malone has Pippen guarding him in the post. They're going to try to go to Malone early.
A little too long, and Longley has it.
That's that pass that they just can't make. You must swing it to the top and make the extra pass.
Pippen into the lane. Lost control of it. Back tap to Michael. His floater gives Chicago a 6-4 lead. The officials are Danny Crawford, Joe Crawford, and Bill Oakes. Malone against Longley. Stockton for three. John Stockton at age 36. Coming up big in the NBA Finals. No one has played point guard at his age as a regular with anything like this level of effectiveness in the history of the league. Kukoc hits off the baseline.
You can see early the Bulls are going into the post and the double team flashing to the open area. Kukoc with the open jump shot. Much better ball movement already in game 2 than in game 1 for Chicago.
And Doug, Chicago is really attacking the basket, trying to exploit Utah's weakness because they don't have good shot blockers out on the floor.
Malone. Nothing dropping for him. Pippen coast to coast. Foster has it. And Malone was fouled as he made his move. Let's take a peek backstage. This is Dennis Rodman dribbling a basketball to try to loosen up the sore right thumb. Often he's riding the bike to try to get warm. Here's Hornacek. Out to Russell. He'll fire a three. Utah did not hit a single three-pointer in game 1, and they've got 2 of them tonight already.
They were 0 for 8 in game 1, and they were a 38% shooting three-point team in the regular season, which was 5th in the league.
Hornacek bumps Jordan. Rodman's coming in a little bit less than 4.5 minutes into the game, replacing Longley. Foul on Hornacek, his first, as we check with Ahmad.
All right, Bob, when I was talking about that controversy, it stemmed from last game when Phil Jackson was not able to find Rodman on the bench. But Dennis always goes back and warms up when he doesn't start, and it's something that they've done all year, and it is not anything that is a distraction. Bob?
Jordan's miss is tipped to Pippen. And it could be a three-point play as he banks it home and will come to the line.
Isaiah, I can tell you right now, Jerry Sloan is not happy with his team's defensive rebounding. Every loose ball has gone to the Chicago Bulls, and Scottie Pippen is not settling for the outside jump shot. He's slashing and cutting and getting inside the defense, not settling for that three-point shot on the perimeter.
And Chicago right now is playing with a sense of desperation because they know they can't go down in this series 0-2.
Only 2 teams in NBA history have trailed the finals 0-2 and come back to win it. 69 Celtics, 77 Trailblazers. Hornacek between 2 defenders. And Pippen and Rodman either could have taken it, and they combine to juggle it out of bounds.
Bob, I can tell Hornacek is really struggling with that Achilles injury that he has. Really can't get any lift on his shot, and when he goes to penetrate to the basket, he's taking small baby steps as opposed to taking a long step to finish.
Russell with it for Utah. Hornacek. Jordan got a piece of it. Hornacek recovers, muscles it up and in, and this could be a three-point play as Utah has taken the lead 12-11. Before Hornacek tries to tack on the free throw, we'll take one more look at the basket, then step aside for a commercial break. Jeff stuck with it, and against 2 defenders, he gives Utah the lead.
This is one of the Jazz favorite plays. You're going to see Hornacek set a rip screen and bring Malone to the post. They're so concerned about Malone that it frees Hornacek to step right back to the ball. Pippen bumps, and now Hornacek can take the ball to the basket. I can already see that in the preparation of game 2, they've gone to work on this play because they did not do a good job in game 1. Malone got a basket earlier off the same play, and you can see game 1, 21 points off the turnovers, the assist, the 52 points in the paint, the 21 fast break points, but the execution already better in game 2 by both teams here early in the game.
Doug, that's one of their bread and butter plays, and normally Hornacek is strong enough to shoot that gap and take that long step. And you can see he wasn't able to get in that gap with that long step.
Hornacek, an exceptionally good free throw shooter, completes the three-point play. Jordan, who's 2 for 3 at the outset of this game, gives it up to Pippen. Kukoc has some room. Pippen has the rebound.
Another offensive rebound for Chicago.
This is what Jerry Sloan was harping about, even though they won game 1. Shot clock moves down to 7. Hornacek on Michael. Foster trying to help. Tough shot off the back iron, and Stockton takes it. Jim Gray mentioned it at the beginning of the game. Jerry Sloan told us after practice yesterday that if his team thought they could be complacent after a game 1 victory, he took that thought out of their minds with a stern lecture after practice. Russell misses, but Malone is there, so an offensive rebound for Utah. Sloan said, I talked to my team as if they had lost game 1 because we did a lot of things wrong. Malone from Stockton. How many times has that been said over the past decade and a half? Malone was fouled.
But Bob, the eye contact, you could see he and Stockton all the way. He's going to get the offensive rebound, and then it's going to lead to the shot by Malone, but it's a great read. He slips the screen, and Kukoc cannot get there soon enough. The pump fake and the foul, and Malone gets to the free throw line to shoot 2 free throws. But you can't teach that. That's eye contact between 2 Hall of Fame players who've played together for 13 seasons.
As a rookie out of Louisiana Tech, Karl Malone shot just 49% in his first year in the NBA from the line. This year, up to 76%.
We talked about in our opening on game 1 the percentage of points that Malone scores when his team wins. The other night they got away with him scoring only 21 and winning the game. I don't think they can do that tonight. I think he has to be more on his average of 28 to 29 points.
But Karl Malone must resist the temptation to take those outside jump shots.
Malone made 1 of 2 as Stockton sits down and Eisley replaces him. Jordan. His 3rd field goal. And the Bulls are back to within 1 at 14-13. Now here comes Eisley out of the backcourt. He and Stockton combined for 32 points and 14 assists in game 1. So combined, they put up Magic Johnson-like numbers. Malone over Rodman. In and out. Malone helping on a double team with Jordan. Pippen slices through the defense and slams it.
See, when you come with size, Malone came to double team with size, forced the lone J over in the corner, and then Pippen penetrated the lane for the easy dunk.
Malone driving on Rodman and threw it away, intended for Eisley.
You can see early in this game, Malone is being forced out on the perimeter once again. They're not giving him the low post position. They're forcing him to step out. You already see a turnover and a couple missed jump shots. The 2 great players of Chicago already 13 of the 15 points, and Scottie Pippen is taking everything to the basket to start this game.
Rodman's pass knocked away and kicked. They'll reset the 24 and give it back to Chicago. Pippen again to the hoop. Contact, no foul. Loose ball out of bounds, and it goes to Utah.
Utah has been very fortunate. Toni Kukoc with another offensive rebound.
Russell pulls up and hits off the glass.
Now see, Toni Kukoc was back yelling at the referee, and nobody got back defensively to Bryon Russell. You cannot be concerned that you didn't get the call. You must get back.
And Jordan just told Kukoc, don't argue with the officials.
Do that instead. Score and give us the lead again. Chris Morris has come into the lineup off Jerry Sloan's bench for Utah. Kukoc on Russell, who drives on him and then tries to dish it back outside, but apparently had no one in particular in mind.
They were trying to take advantage of the matchup. They thought Russell could break Kukoc down off the dribble. Toni did a nice job. He kept his body in front of him. He left his feet and turned the ball over. And Chicago's victory is off to a great start. We talked about it in the opening. Michael needs help. He rolls to the post, hits the easy jump shot. And then Scottie Pippen out of the double team. He doesn't settle for the open jump shot. He pump fakes, drives it to the lane with the powerful finish. And then Toni Kukoc, on the words of Michael Jordan, just keep playing. Don't talk to the officials. The finger roll, and the Bulls are off to a great start.
Jordan, Pippen, and Kukoc are the only Bulls to have scored. This is the scene across the street from the Delta Center. Some 15,000 gathered to party and watch the game on a big screen TV. Outdoor jazz concerts are popular at this time of the year.
Well, you see the big three from Chicago off to a great start. They have 17 of the Bulls' 17 points. So they're off to a terrific start. And more importantly, they have 5 offensive rebounds, the Bulls do, on 7 missed shots. They missed 48 shots in game 1 and only got 9 of them back.
Here's Pippen, fade away in the lane. At least that was his intent, but he was tripped and fouled.
Yeah, they caught Howard Eisley pushing Pippen right in the back there.
It comes before the shot, so they inbound from the side. Rodman to Pippen, outside to Harper. Now Michael baseline. And he starts the same way he began game 1, on fire.
See what Chicago has out on the floor right now with Kukoc, Jordan, and Pippen. They have 3 excellent post-up players that they can exploit mismatches anytime in the post.
Malone with the slam. His jumper is still missing in action. But with his strength, if you can get him inside, it's over.
Scottie Pippen about 1 step slow on that rotation. Malone, you almost have to pre-rotate. You have to be on your way over as you're trapping that screen roll. It's going to be too late to get there.
And a 20-second timeout asked for by Chicago.
Great ball movement here by Chicago early. The ball has gone from side to side. It comes back to Michael. No chance to get a double team, so he turns and hits the jump shot. And then the bread and butter play. Once again, the screen roll, Malone slips it, and you see Scottie Pippen on the weak side about a step slow getting over. Again, he's got to be on his way over as Malone starts to roll. He's got to meet him at the dotted line. Otherwise, that's too late. Malone is way too powerful.
And Doug, with Malone, he must go inside right now because Chicago doesn't have anybody with the strength that can play him out on the floor right now.
Jim Gray with Karl Malone at halftime. We understand it's a terrific feature, which they recorded yesterday at his palatial home in Salt Lake. After the 22nd timeout, Michael has it. He's hit 4 of his first 6. He fires a 3 and misses long. Rebound chased down by Pippen. Harper in the lane. Misses off the glass. And Chris Morris comes away with it. Danny Crawford blows his whistle off the ball, and there's a Utah foul. It's on Malone. No, making a 3-second violation. 3-second violation.
This ball has got to swing to the top. They're holding the ball and allowing Chicago to get in front of the post on the defense.
Harper open, misses a 3. Eisley takes it from his backcourt spot. Right through Malone's hands and out of bounds. He and Rodman really jostling in that low post.
Yeah, Malone is having a hard time trying to get Rodman or Pippen on his back. Therefore, he's standing. He's got to move around and make sure he establishes himself in the post deep.
Kukoc, quick first step, and finishes it with the layup.
Well, Michael's supporting cast has given him a great effort here to start this game. Pippen and Kukoc off to wonderful starts. We know how important that is with Kukoc. He plays much better when he gets off to a quick start on offense.
He has 6, Pippen has 7. Malone tries another jumper, and this one is there.
That's the same shot he got in game 1, and he's got to make that shot. That's within their offense. He made it all season long.
Kukoc spins on Russell and hits the little left-hand hook.
See, Russell is just giving up too much size to Kukoc on the low post.
Go high 2 for 1 here on a screen roll. See if Malone steps out with he and Eisley.
Malone inside, nice feed, but he undershot it. Hit the underside of the rim. Harper looking for Pippen. And a Utah foul on Morris.
Karl Malone with the screen roll. Rodman's going to show. He steps back. Got the little 15 to 17-foot jump shot. He's got to make that shot. And the next time he gets in a hurry. Looks like he's got his man beat, has the layup. Looks like at the last moment he takes his eye off the rim and looks at Scottie Pippen and misses the easy shot. That's a big shot because that would have brought him within 1. The Bulls have a chance now to push it to 5.
See, Doug, I think Chicago would live with Karl Malone shooting 17 and 15-foot jump shots. They don't want him inside causing fouls.
Pippen sits out the closing moments of the first quarter, replaced by Jud Buechler. Steve Kerr, to give them an extra shooting threat, also comes on for the first time. 10 seconds. Jordan against Hornacek, blows by him, pulls up, misses. Rodman battling on the boards, but can't hold on to it.
I thought Michael went a little bit too soon with that. He gives them 4.5 seconds here to get a score. Let's see if they can do it.
Eisley fouled by Kerr, and they had a foul to give. Smart play.
Now they have a play here they run that they try to curl either Eisley or Hornacek off this triple screen up at the top to get a quick shot. Let's see if they can free him up for a jumper.
Eisley, catch, shoot, short. After 1, the Bulls trying to draw even, lead it 23-20. Besides Jordan and Malone, here's a significant number. Kukoc had 9 points in all of Game 1. 8 points in the first quarter tonight. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
Now, the big 3 has come through in the first quarter for the Chicago Bulls. And the big 3 starts with Michael Jordan. You see they're late here on the double team. And when you have Pippen out on the floor slashing and Kukoc slashing, they're very difficult to guard. They've stepped up in the first quarter, and you look at their numbers, 8, 8, and 7. Doug, I think when they go into the post, Utah's going to have to make a decision that they're going to have to get back quicker to double team Jordan and Pippen.
Jordan begins quarter number 2 on the bench. This is pretty much routine for Phil Jackson as he tries to get Michael a breather at this juncture of the game. Buechler playing important minutes now in Game 2. Pippen pulls up at the foul line, finds Kukoc for 3. It rattles in and out. Russell sprints back the other way. Nearly lost it, but Malone is there to cover up.
I'm watching Dennis Rodman, and he's very hesitant to stick his right hand in there. Ahmad told us that it was bothering him very much this game.
Shandon Anderson's first shot, the up and under works.
Exactly what they did in Game 1. The moment Shandon Anderson came in the game, they went into the post. He got 2 quick fouls the other night against Buechler. This time he gets the score.
Rodman screening for Kerr. Pippen in the lane with the hook. Scottie Pippen now has 9, and no one but Pippen, Kukoc, and Jordan is in the scorebook for Chicago. Anderson driving on Buechler, the reverse. Doesn't quite fall, but he was fouled. Folks, you can log on to msnbcsports.com as NBA Showtime extends its coverage to the internet. Email Bill Walton your playoff questions. Click on video features and find out how any Bulls player matches up against any Jazz player. It's all at msnbcsports.com.
The Jazz has great confidence right now in Shandon Anderson. They're going to him on the block. He scores, comes back the next time, gets the quick foul. Phil Jackson does not like the matchup, so he's coming back with Scott Burrell now to play against Shandon Anderson. He's not going to let him get going here early in the second quarter.
Tough final for Anderson a year ago. His father, Willie Anderson Sr., passed away. He had to miss games 3 and 4, both Jazz victories. Then when he came back, he missed some important shots down the stretch in game 6 as the Bulls notched the clinching victory. But he's played well this year in his second year in the NBA, especially against the Lakers in the Western Conference Final. Bulls by 1. Kukoc makes it 3 as he continues his outstanding play. He has 10.
Now you see Kukoc with all the moves inside. He has the little up and under, the baseline jump hook. He's got all the moves inside.
Anderson tries Burrell. And there's an immediate foul. Kerr was also there.
Now, when you look at Kukoc inside, he's 6'11", and Chris Morris is only 6'8", so he's giving up a lot of inches in there. Kukoc can come, gives him a little up fake, and his arms are so long that he can extend and give them a little soft finger roll.
And the fact that he's left-handed there too, Isaiah. Normally a right-handed player couldn't get that shot off, but he actually came back with his strong hand.
Malone to the bench, replaced by Carr. And there's Shandon Anderson. Well, they tried to change the matchup. First Burrell fouled him, then they went right back to him, and he scores once more. Howard Eisley's 5th assist already. Kukoc feeling it, but this time it comes up short. Eisley guarded by Kerr. Much quicker than his veteran defender. Carr sets the screen, then gets it back. Takes it to the hole and hits with the left hand.
Antoine Carr, Bob, did not have a field goal the entire first game. That was needed. He needs to score some points for this team.
So they get a contribution from the former Wichita State wheat shocker.
Chicago in the rotation. Off the drive, and Scottie Pippen just cannot stop the big dog on the powerful drive to the hoop.
Commissioner David Stern peruses some early game stats, and among those numbers, he might pick up on this. Utah's bench has outscored Chicago 8-zip. It was 22-8. Advantage Utah in game 1. Shandon Howard Eisley has 5 assists in relief of John Stockton. Jordan back in. Who scored 6 different. Luke Longley to Pippen. Great feed.
That was a great feed and a nice cut with the pass.
Chris Morris. Open. Rebound across the basket to Jordan. A wide open look, but Eisley couldn't put it down. Pippen draws 2 defenders. He finds Longley.
Knowing Jerry Sloan the way I do, the thing he's going to be upset right now is Chicago's in a great flow offensively because Utah's not putting their body on cutters. They're going wherever they want to go on the floor, getting very high percentage shots.
And Utah's got to be really careful right here because Chicago has the 2 best players in Jordan and Pippen on the floor.
Eisley drove around 2 defenders to lay it in.
Utah's playing right now with their bench, and Chicago will be able to make a run right here if Utah's not careful.
A moment ago, Longley became the first Bull other than the big 3 to score. And Joe Crawford blows his whistle. Stockton coming back in. And they'll play Eisley and Stockton at the same time. Bryon Russell goes to the bench.
Well, John Stockton missed actually 11 minutes and 31 seconds of game time, but he actually got 26 minutes and 20 seconds rest. That's how you use those timeouts to be able to rest your starters and get them the quality minutes you need from them.
Last foul on Chris Morris, his second. Burrell, a three, got it.
See, with Stockton and Eisley in the game, when you come to double team Jordan, you're double teaming him with a smaller player. Therefore, he's able to give Burrell a nice pass out of the double team.
Carr, jumper. Halfway down and it pops out. Depriving Stockton of an assist. Jordan for three. And Stockton runs the rebound down. It's Chicago by 4. Burrell up on Morris. Antoine Carr returns the pass to Morris on a great look, but Chris couldn't finish it.
So those are momentum breakers right now. If Chicago comes down and scores, it's a 6-point game.
And they do come down and score on Michael's great assist to Longley. And that prompts Jerry Sloan to ask for a timeout. His team trailing by half a dozen. 6:31 remaining in the first half of game 2.
Howard Eisley is going to come down and double team. Now the problem with that is he's so small. Michael can throw the hard pass right back out, and they can't react to it because it's such a crisp pass, and Burrell knocks down the open three. And then the next time down the floor, the give and go, Michael Jordan is going to find Luke Longley. Luke slips in, nobody puts a body on him, and he gets the little finger dunk there, and Michael Jordan looks at him going to the bench, and when you get that look, you better finish.
Those are the eyes of a basketball assassin.
I've witnessed those eyes a couple of times before.
He may be a warm-hearted guy every place but on the floor. But on the basketball court, he is as cold-blooded as they come. Here is Malone after the timeout, right to the hoop on Longley.
Now you see Malone take it and go aggressive right there, and Jim Gray just told us that Jerry Sloan really got on his team in the huddle and wanted them to compete harder. So you see Malone comes right out of the huddle, takes the ball, put his head down, and goes straight to the basket. That's where Malone needs to be, inside, drawing fouls.
It's Longley's second foul. Malone, who usually lives at the free throw line, shot only 4 foul shots in game 1.
When you're a coach and you take a timeout down 6, your team comes out and gets a 3-point play. That's terrific. They've come out and executed exactly what you wanted them to do.
Kerr bounces to Longley, who is pushed and fouled by Ostertag. Stockton raised his hand.
Isaiah, look why this play works right here. They're going to play off the Bulls' overplay. So when they throw here, there's no help, and he can take the ball right to the basket. See, Michael's overplaying, so there is no help. That's a great play out of a set timeout.
It appeared as if Ostertag was the guy who really jostled Longley there, but they called the foul on Stockton as first. Here's Burrell, and Ostertag is there to take the rebound. Stockton looking for help. Eisley with 7 on the 24. Working on Kerr. 3 seconds to shoot. A rainbow comes up short. It's an air ball, and it's grabbed under the bucket by Jordan.
So you got interesting matchups out on the floor right now because they don't respect Ostertag, and that forces Malone to guard Kukoc.
But Kukoc travels with it.
Normally you would see Hornacek on the floor right now, but he's really struggling with that injury. So they're having to play a very small backcourt, and they're playing Shandon Anderson as a small forward. How much longer before we see Brian Russell back into the game against this bigger Bulls lineup now?
Stockton snap pass to Eisley, gives it up to Ostertag, and Utah moves to within 1. Stockton on Kerr. Kukoc open, passes up the 3 to find Jordan beneath the hoop.
See, Jordan caught Stockton on the screen and made him switch and went right to the rim, and Kukoc found him for the easy layup.
Jordan has 10 now. Malone over Longley. Short. Got his own. Lays it in.
It looks like Karl Malone is trying to shoot that jumper a little quick. He shot it and chased it down almost like he had no confidence he was going to make it. That's his shot. He just got to square up and shoot that thing over Luke.
Burrell, turnaround, deflected and taken by Utah. Eisley, bouncing to Anderson, who can't come up with it, and Jordan can. Ahead to Kukoc. Tries to return it to Jordan in the lane, and there's a Utah foul.
They had an excellent fast break opportunity right there, but Jordan led Kukoc a little too long through a bad pass, which forced Toni out of position.
Foul on Eisley, his second.
Burrell leaves the game, Harper back in. Burrell gave them good minutes tonight.
Each team with 3 team fouls. Kukoc lets it go and cans the 3.
There's a fan that hollered behind us, "Shoot it, Toni!" And he lined up the 3 and knocked it down.
He's now the game's high man with 13 points. Anderson gets inside Jordan and finishes it.
How about the respect for Shandon Anderson? Michael Jordan on him in the post. They still go to him. A great entry pass over the top. The Bulls' backside defense slow to react.
See, Doug, I think that's where Malone should be. Anderson is getting deep in the post, and Malone must get deeper in the post.
Longley to the cutting Jordan. And Michael has a dozen. Anderson, second-year man from Georgia, has 8 off the bench. His pass, though, eludes Malone. Harper back. Looking for Michael, guarded this time by Stockton. Ostertag is there with help. They swing it around, and Kukoc is open again. This time he misses the 3. However, Longley pokes it back to him. Kerr for 3. And Jerry Sloan has to be gritting his teeth over on the Utah bench as Chicago continues to dominate on the offensive glass.
Well, Malone started running out instead of getting the rebound. Nobody there to guard Kukoc, and he gets the second shot.
Jordan swats it away from Anderson and out of bounds. The Utah fans contend that Anderson was fouled, but the officials say Michael got it cleanly.
Now you watch Longley will come over, and as Anderson goes up, he has to adjust the shot, and Jordan is there to send it out of there. As he gives a little bounce, and I can tell you there's nothing like the feeling of blocking a shot like that when you knock it out of bounds. You just give a little hop.
At halftime, Jim Gray with Karl Malone, an interview they taped yesterday at Karl's home here in Salt Lake, and 74-year-old Maynard Trudeau of Boynton Beach, Florida, will have a shot at $2 million in the AT&T shootout. He'd have to make all 5. We'll show you how successful he is.
Bob, I wouldn't mind 5 shots at a $2 million bonus there. I'd like that opportunity.
I understand he shoots them underhand from every spot on the floor. And practicing yesterday, he was averaging 3 out of 5. Here's Ostertag. 1 out of 1 on that one. A moment ago, Chicago led by 7. That was the game's biggest lead. Now it's down to 5. Michael over Hornacek. Rebound Ostertag. Hornacek lets it go. Kukoc got there late. And Hornacek connects.
We know how important it is the last 2 minutes of a quarter or a half. 4 quick points here by the Utah Jazz to cut it to 4, to 3.
And they've got the crowd back in it. Kukoc is fouled.
Out of a timeout, Stockton, who does it better? It's not Malone this time, but on the weak side, the cutter, Ostertag for the dunk. And then Hornacek off the transition, early offense. He squares it up and hits a tough shot over Toni Kukoc to cut it to 3.
How about those 2 perfect feeds by Stockton? Did you see the rotation on that basketball?
Last foul on Malone was his first. Pippen driving on Anderson, and Shandon is hit with the personal.
Now Anderson got a little too close to Pippen that time.
Utah's over the limit. Pippen's coming to the line. Tomorrow, NBC Saturday starts at 8, 7 Central, with the NBC original movie thriller, The Lottery. Then the thrills continue with Profiler. 8 Eastern, 7 Central, tomorrow night on NBC.
All right, here we go, guys.
Pippen has 12. So does Jordan. Kukoc leads Chicago with 13. Malone's the high man for Utah with 12. Pippen being taunted hits them both.
And you see what championship experience is that you can play with desperation but be under control, as Chicago is right now.
Hornacek on the move. Underhands it off the glass. Offensive foul takes it away.
Michael Jordan is so quick to react. Looked like Hornacek had a step on him. He squares him up and goes, but Michael finds the angle. And you see Hornacek pushing off with the left arm.
Hornacek's second foul. Now leaning all over Jordan. No call there. And then there's a foul on the Jazz as Hornacek comes away with the ball. And the Utah fans are incensed. They hit Hornacek with the offensive at the one edge. Now he goes down. Whether he flopped or not is a matter of judgment after a little bump and go with Jordan.
Yeah, and you see that the official underneath, Danny Crawford, called the foul. As Hornacek takes the bump, Jordan gets the foul, and Jerry Sloan on the bench was going nuts.
It's also the third on Hornacek, who sits down with 53 seconds to play in the half.
Now, if Michael makes this, it's a 7-point game. Utah's got to get a couple baskets here and get a stop. They don't want a double-figure deficit going in at halftime.
Matching the game's biggest lead at 7. Stockton out to Malone, driving on Pippen. Gets his own rebound, goes to the floor, no call, gets it off to Russell. Now Stockton.
Well, Jerry Sloan is livid. He feels like if Michael Jordan is getting those calls, why isn't Karl Malone?
Stockton to Ostertag, and Longley fouled him, and the shot fell anyway.
Malone is going to take the ball to the basket. He realized Michael just got fouled, felt like he got bumped, fights to get it back, tries to power it up, the ball is knocked loose. And then Ostertag, once again, the man on the spot from Stockton, he gathers himself. It wasn't pretty, but it was effective. He's got a chance once again to cut this lead down to 4 if he can make the free throw.
Ostertag trashed earlier this year after signing a huge contract. Showed up in training camp, out of shape. Longley with 3 fouls goes out. Karl Malone was the most outspoken. He said, hey, you got to help this team. You're not doing anything for us. And in fact, Greg Foster is now the starter. But Ostertag off the bench tonight, 6 minutes, 6 points, 3 rebounds. Give him 7 points as he completes the 3-point play.
His size bothers Chicago. It bothered him in the second half on the double teams. He's done a nice job. Can Utah get a stop?
And in this situation, Doug, you don't want to give up the 3.
Michael against Russell. Baseline fadeaway. Can't finish the half with a hoop, and there's the horn. Toni Kukoc had 13. So did Scottie Pippen. Michael winds up the first half with 14. Karl Malone had a dozen for Utah. Chicago leads it by 4 at halftime. Chicago ball up by 4 as we begin the third quarter.
Foster will start on Kukoc. He must get a body on him and do a better job than he did to start the game.
Kukoc off the dribble, finds Harper in the corner. Now it's Michael, double pumps and connects. 16 for him.
That was an unbelievable shot. The ball was knocked away from him. Hornacek came from behind. He had to pull it down and shot a trolley wire jumper. I don't know if the thing went into the basket.
Hornacek into the lane against Michael. Foster crashing the boards over Pippen to knock it away and out of bounds. So Chicago brings it back with the 6-point lead. Pippen guarded by Russell. Jordan again. Not this time. Foster has the rebound. The lob to Malone, and hold on. Play whistle to a stop, a Chicago foul, and if it's Longley, that's number 4, and that's what it is.
Bob, take a look at Michael Jordan here now. He's going to mishandle the ball. Look at Hornacek from behind. He double pumps it, the ball barely over the front of the rim, and he makes a very difficult shot.
Hornacek with room and with 2.
First 2 plays of the game, Utah run right at Michael Jordan. They said, we've got to make him use some energy. Hornacek hits the open jumper.
To cut it to 4. Pippen, his defender falls. Scottie tried to take it into the lane, knocked out of bounds by the Jazz. Let's check in with Ahmad.
All right, Bob, we talked about game-to-game adjustments. Well, the Bulls have made that adjustment. Phil Jackson just got up a minute ago looking for Dennis Rodman. He wasn't on the bench, but he looked down at the security guard. The security guard beckoned to Rodman to come back in the game, so they now have a system, so that won't be any more confusion, Bob.
Ingenious. Kukoc turns and hooks. It rattles in and out, and Malone is there to take the rebound. Down goes Malone at the other end. Perhaps fouled by Longley. And that's 5.
Yeah, Malone came down to establish his low post position. He was trying to get the position, and normally the officials will let you bump the guy before he gets in position. Malone does a good job enacting flops, take the charge, and the officials blow the whistle.
And that means Rodman comes in. Rodman, of course, always complaining that Malone is constantly acting and flopping, that sort of thing. According to Dennis, discuss him. Dennis is on Malone. Stockton fires a jumper, and it's there for him.
See, when the ball goes into the post, the guard's split on the outside, so you can't double team. And Stockton is shooting the ball very well.
Now, Rodman in that first half played 11 minutes and didn't have 1 rebound.
That's got to change, you figure, for Chicago to have a chance, especially with Longley now riding the pine with 5 fouls.
In the first half, they only had 9 defensive rebounds, and that's not good for Chicago.
That foul on Malone is his 2nd.
See, Karl Malone, the last possession, he knew Luke Longley had 4 fouls, and Isaiah, he totally baited the official into that call. He really acted that play out, and the Chicago Bulls are really, really upset about that.
You know what? That's gamesmanship.
Absolutely.
That's not worthy of disdain. It's worthy of admiration.
I agree. You know what your opponent's got. You go in and you put the onus on the official to see if they'll make the call.
Michael gets them both with the help of a friendly roll. Here's Malone, Pippen over on the double team. Foster can't contribute, had a wide open jumper, couldn't connect. Jordan, stutter step, pull up, rebound Foster.
And you can see Ostertag is coming into the game. Jerry Sloan has seen enough from Greg Foster.
Ball loose in the lane and taken by Pippen.
Kukoc is open underneath.
Harper slapped away and a foul. Ostertag is coming in. Let's follow Foster to the bench and see if Jerry Sloan has anything to say.
I would hate to be Greg Foster right now going to the bench and having to face Jerry Sloan.
Well, he's sitting almost as far away as possible.
That's very smart.
Stockton picked up his 2nd, sending Harper to the line.
One of the things Chicago has done today on a lot of their splits, Harper is trying to post up in the lane against John Stockton. That time, he was able to get the foul, but he's really looking to score around the basket rather than float on the perimeter.
The free throw shooting will be big for Chicago in the playoffs. They have 3 players, Kukoc, Pippen, and Harper, shooting under 70% from the line.
But Pippen, who struggled especially in the Indiana series, is 9 of 9 so far in a game and a half in the final against Utah. 6 of 6 in game 1, 3 of 3 tonight. Malone trying to find Russell. Ostertag comes up with it. Out of the corner, Russell. Inside Ostertag. Chicago ball.
The quickness of Chicago is really bothering Utah right now. They're disrupting the rhythm of their offense.
Earlier we talked about Chicago playing under desperation but playing with poise. Now, can Utah be a desperate team but be poised?
Coach around Malone and a whistle. Malone hit with the foul, which is his 3rd.
That was an isolation play for Toni Kukoc. They completely cleared out the left side. No one talked to Karl Malone. Should have pushed him back to his right hand to help. There's no weak side help here because they had cleared it out. Your teammates got to talk to you, Isaiah, and say, push him back to help. Bring him to me.
See, that's a tough matchup for Karl Malone. Longley goes to the bench. Now you got to chase Kukoc out on the floor and on the perimeter.
Foster's back in. Here he is guarding Kukoc. Ostertag has gone out. Kukoc on the run. Air ball. Jordan there to clean up the mess. For the 31st time now in 31 NBA Finals games in 6 different series, counting this one, Michael Jordan has scored at least 20 points in every game. Hornacek, spinning move.
See, I love Jacque Hornacek as a player. I mean, he's gritty, he's gutsy, and he's going to give you everything that he has on the basketball court.
Harper bumps into Stockton, no foul, and the hoop.
Once again, Harper in the post against Stockton. They're going to try to punish him down there, make him play some post defense so he can't roam.
Malone muscles in between 2 defenders and is fouled, with the Jazz now down by 7.
You see the big guards of Chicago now are starting to take control of this game, giving the smaller Jazz problems. You look at Jordan underneath, pushes Hornacek out of the way, and gets the offensive glass. Now you see Harper using his size and his strength. Stockton tries to flop. Harper turns around and knocks down the easy J. They got to come down and double team quicker because the guards of Chicago have so much size.
Foul on Rodman was his 2nd. After this game, we'll head to Chicago for game 3. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain Time with Showtime. And a half hour later, it's game 3, the Jazz and the Bulls. One of 2 for Karl, and the rebound for Rodman. His 2nd rebound of the night. Pippen looking for Michael, trying to post up on Hornacek, spins around him. 2 Jazz defenders surrounded him, and they take the ball away. Hornacek throws it right to Rodman, and Jordan is all alone, and he saunters in.
How about Dennis Rodman? Before he even touched the basketball, he knew Jordan was down court, and he just touched it real quick and flipped it back.
Now an 8-point lead for Chicago. Malone can't cut it to 6. Foster grabs the rebound, but there's a Utah foul. And it's on Foster, his 2nd.
Jeff Hornacek thought that John Stockton was going to keep running to the basket. He stopped at the 3-point line, and Rodman, as you said, caught it and immediately left his hands. This is the easiest basket Michael Jordan has gotten in a long, long time.
Miller Genuine Draft presents even more basketball.
Michael Jordan with a shot fake. Look, no resistance in the lane with a little finger roll. Here the quick turnaround jumper, no double team. Michael gets the late double team here, forces him into a miss. And as he pump fakes on the baseline, you see the strong help this time by the Jazz. So they're going to need more of that if they're going to get back into this game. You see Michael 9 of 19. A lot of the shots on the right side, the other shots in the lane. He's had nothing tonight from the left side of the floor.
And in recognition of this look inside the game, Miller Brewing Company will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. Adam Keefe, who has spent more time on the bench than Thurgood Marshall, has checked in for the first time as we check in with Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. The conversation during the bench, Scottie Pippen saying take good quality shots every time down. Michael Jordan telling him to be smart, take care of the ball, run the floor, and crash the boards. Bob?
Jordan missed. Keefe rebounded.
See, with Adam Keefe on the floor now, Pippen can really roam because Keefe is not a shooter.
Russell to Malone, guarded by Dennis. Tries to muscle up on him and draws the foul. It's Rodman's third. Your thoughts, Doug, on this system that they've now rigged up, where the security guard conveys Phil Jackson's wishes to Dennis that he should come back from the tunnel, back from the locker room, and to the bench.
Well, it's very difficult on a coach. In fact, if Dennis was not on the bench when Longley picked up his fourth foul, he got the fifth foul before Dennis could get into the game. Now, I don't know if that was a factor, but you as a coach have to be able to communicate to get into the game. It might be for one possession. You don't know when it's coming. Your player has to be ready to go into the game.
And Rodman likes to keep his body warm. And in Chicago, when he's at home, he's able to ride the bike in the tunnel, and they're able to get to him quickly. Here in Utah, I don't think they're going to let him put that bike behind the bench.
Malone hits them both. Utah to within 6.
Utah has got to make a defensive stand, though, right now. Chicago is in too good a rhythm.
Keefe guarding Kukoc. Russell on Pippen. Michael inside. Missed it. Rebound Malone. Stockton bumps off Pippen. Finds Russell for 3. Timeout, Chicago.
The Bulls are up 6 at this point in time. Michael Jordan sets a great screen. Hornacek gets caught on Rodman. You're going to see him slip to the basket. Michael, if he makes this shot, they go up 8. He misses. The Jazz now with one of their few fast breaks of the night. Scottie Pippen wanted the offensive foul. The officials have been consistent. They have not called this all night long. Kicks out to Russell, who buries the 3, a 5-point swing to cut the lead to 3.
Michael Jordan on the bench for the moment. Kukoc and Pippen got all their points in the first half. Each is scoreless since intermission. Kukoc guarded by Keefe. Harper. And Kerr is stripped by Stockton. Here's Keefe ahead of the field. Blew the layup. Malone is there. Hornacek for 3. It works out better for Utah. The game is tied.
Michael Jordan resting. Interesting, he normally doesn't rest him at this point in the game, Bob.
Harper's open. Stockton takes it, pushing it up the floor, all the way to the hoop. Utah has the lead. The Jazz on a 10-0 run. Rodman looking for Kerr off his hands and out of bounds.
That's a bad decision on that pass because if Kerr caught it, he couldn't have done anything with it. He was buried underneath the basket.
Not only was he buried, but Kukoc was standing at the three-point line wide open.
Dennis Rodman just barrels through the screen, but on this fast break, you're going to see Stockton strip Kerr. He throws ahead to Adam Keefe. Now, Adam Keefe has been sick. He has no legs. It comes out on the miss, and he hits the three. Then here comes Stockton to give Utah the lead on the fast break, and on the ensuing possession, Rodman just runs through the screen and picks up the foul.
His fourth. So Rodman has 4. Longley has 5. And Jordan comes back in. Hornacek at the line is from LaGrange, Illinois, not far from Chicago. He's fond of telling the story about his son Ryan, whose favorite player is Michael Jordan. He says Ryan has a Jordan jersey, but he has said it is absolutely forbidden to wear that jersey around the house during the finals.
Adam Keefe with a lane violation, Bob. You never want to lane violate with a 90% free throw shooter. The Jazz lose a point. Phil Jackson, realizing the momentum switching, he immediately comes back in with Michael Jordan, who only rested about a minute.
Yeah, there you're anticipating a rebound that's almost certain not to come. Rodman, jumper on Malone. Missed it, but a foul as Kerr went down away from the action. And Brian Russell picks up his first.
Here's Adam Keefe right here. He's going to get in the lane too quickly. Again, Hornacek, a 90% free throw shooter. You never do that. Now if you're shooting a 50% free throw shooter, maybe you take that chance, but the referees definitely had to call that.
And Doug, if I'm Karl Malone, I am thinking every time I touch the basketball with Dennis Rodman having 4 fouls and Longley having 5, attack the basket because you know they're going to be tentative guarding you.
Kerr's free throw ends an 11-0 Utah run, and he makes them both. Howard Eisley in for Stockton. Hornacek will bring it back. Now takes a little lunger and somehow hits it. Man, he's got a wide array of shots and seems to be able to change it in midair if the defense makes it.
Hornacek is a great shooter, and if he can get his right hand free, he can get off a good look.
This time, a great shooter named Michael Jordan doesn't get the bounce. Eisley pushing it up the floor.
Get the ball on the block to Malone. Rodman's in foul trouble. Longley, as Isaiah talked about, take it to the basket.
Malone, turnaround. The rebound to Pippen.
So you can't settle for fall away Jays right now.
Here's Kukoc. Eisley up on Kerr, denying him a chance to shoot a 3. Kukoc misses a 3-pointer. Rodman has board position, but hold on.
It's going to be on Karl Malone. He held Rodman's arm on the offensive rebound.
Well, now that's 4 on Malone. French Open coverage begins at 3 Eastern tomorrow. Monica Seles, Jacque top seed Martina Hingis in the semis. Now she goes up against Arantxa Sanchez Vicario for the championship. On Sunday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, we'll have the men's championship. The women's final tomorrow, the men's final on Sunday here on NBC. Rodman misses the free throw.
Antoine Carr has checked into the game now for Malone, who is resting with 4 fouls. Karl only 5 of 14 from the floor, and Burrell in for Toni Kukoc.
1 of 2. Utah by 2. Eisley around Kerr. Pull up floater. Good! Pippen finds Burrell all alone. Antoine Carr in, screening for Eisley. who's guarded by Kerr. His bounce pass intended for Keefe, picked off by Burrell. Michael with Hornacek on him. Behind the Rodman screen, he overshoots a three, but Jordan grabs it and slams it.
Just the power of Michael Jordan. Hornacek was trying so hard to block him off the glass, Isaiah, and he just sort of pushed him to the side for the second shot.
24 for MJ, game tied at 68.
Yeah, that time that ball took a bad bounce on Hornacek and bounced right to Jordan.
Eisley, another pull-up, another basket.
See, that's Eisley's shot, that little floater, that little mid-range game. It's so tough when you're a point guard, when you can pull up and hit that little mid-range shot because the defense can't come to you.
Kerr from Jordan. It's off. Rebound Rodman. Pippen in the lane. Burrell a good look at a three. Rodman chases it to the side and saves it for Pippen. Tremendous athletic play by Dennis. Now Michael has all the room he wants, but still can't put it down. And Russell outraces him for the rebound. Then he loses it. He tried to call timeout and doesn't get it. And Chicago will have it back.
It was great recognition by Burrell right there. They caught Russell in the corner, and they trapped him quickly, and everyone ran away from him.
Remember that there is no force out anymore. It's either a foul or a violation. Used to be you could bump a guy out and it was called a force out. Joey Crawford ruled that he went out on his own accord on that play.
Now it's Pippen who stumbles away, but he was fouled by Russell. So now Pippen to the line with a chance to tie it with 32.6 on the third quarter clock, and Bill Wennington has come in for the first time in the series.
He came in for Dennis Rodman. Rodman on 2 offensive rebounds. Very fortunate on one of them that he didn't pick up his 5th foul.
Boy, this may be a phantom foul.
Oh, Scottie actually kicked himself.
Yeah, he tripped himself.
Yeah, he did, but I think they caught Russell pushing him in the back. Joey Crawford showed a push.
Jordan out. His figures through 3 quarters. Joe Crawford with an explanation for Jerry Sloan. I doubt that it satisfies him, but Sloan strides back to the bench.
See, Joey Crawford is using a lot of restraint tonight. This is a very emotional guy, and he's a terrific referee, but he realizes in the heat of this, he does not want to give a technical foul unless he just absolutely has to. That's great officiating. You got to give the coaches a little latitude in this kind of magnitude of the game.
Pippen is 11 for 11 at the line in this series so far. Eisley to Carr. Head fake on Wennington. Then the pass inside for Keefe, who bats it to Eisley for a three. Last shot of the quarter for Chicago. Pippen wheeling. Offensive foul. 2 on Scottie. Leaving the Jazz 2.2 to try to get off another shot. Eisley back to Russell. He beats the buzzer and misses it. A three-pointer by Howard Eisley gives the Jazz a 73-70 lead heading into the 4th quarter, hoping to head to Chicago with a 2-0 lead in the NBA Finals. Back after these words from your local station. You're watching the NBA on NBC.
This copyrighted telecast of the National Basketball Association may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the NBA.
Utah up by 3. Now take a look at another set of numbers. You can draw a lot of conclusions from this, but it's almost inescapable that fatigue has to be part of the fact that Michael Jordan's field goal percentage has dropped markedly in the 4th quarter of the last half dozen games. He was 4 of 11 in the 3rd quarter of this one. He's 10 of 24 overall in the game. They have asked him to play heavy minutes at age 35 and to carry a huge portion of the load. Keefe from Eisley can't find the handle. Pippen chases it down. Keefe really struggling here. Pippen to Wennington. His shot is short.
Now remember, the start of the fourth quarter, Utah failed to capitalize on the Bulls bench in game one. Can they do it tonight?
There's a foul on Kukoc.
In the fourth quarter in game one, Chicago outscored Utah 20-12.
First foul on Toni. Kerr on Eisley. Jumper over him. Rebound Keefe. Knocked away. No foul.
Adam Keefe has no timing. He's working very hard, but he just does not have any timing. He's been sick and has not been able to practice or play the last few days.
He started 75 regular season games for them, but out of sync now because of illness. As Doug said, Pippen misses. Carr rebounds.
So Utah needs a score here, Bob. They need to force Phil Jackson's hand and not let Michael Jordan get too much rest so he can be fresh to finish this game.
Shandon Anderson has it sail over his head, and it belongs to Chicago.
This is almost identical to game one. The Jazz struggling to score with turnovers and missed shots. The Bulls now have been able to stay within 3 points and get Michael Jordan a minute and a half rest.
Chris Morris about to check in for Utah. Scott Burrell cutting Pippen, who was fouled. It's on Keefe.
Scottie Pippen back cut Russell. He went to overplay, and Pippen cut right down the lane.
To the importance of Scottie Pippen and Toni Kukoc, we talked about their great first half. They've combined 11 for 19. In the second half, they're 0 for 4, so they do not have a field goal, although Scottie did make 2 free throws in the third quarter.
Tomorrow at 1 Eastern on NBC, Lisa Leslie, Dawn Staley, and college star Shamika Holtzclaw lead the USA against Brazil in the semifinals of the Women's World Championship of Basketball in Berlin. Tomorrow at 1 Eastern on NBC. Pippen remains perfect at the line in this series. Antoine Carr hands to Eisley. Eisley on the move. Off to Anderson. Here's a three. Spins out, and Wennington wrests the rebound away from Keefe. Kukoc for three. Anderson skies to pull it down. And it's still Utah by 1.
Who is Utah going to go to get a score? Going to try to post Anderson on Burrell.
Eisley on the move, underhander, won't fall, but he gets to the loose ball. Eisley. Anderson. Keefe on the baseline. 4 seconds to shoot. Eisley barely beats the shot clock. And it's an air ball, and therefore a 24-second violation. 8:56 to play in regulation. Utah by 1.
Now Utah is struggling in this fourth quarter. They haven't scored 1 bucket. And the reason why they haven't scored, everything is one-on-one. They're known for their perfect passing, their precision cutting, but they've gone to a more passing game, and everybody's trying to do everything off the dribble one-on-one, and they're having a hard time scoring. They got to get back to the basics, got to get back to running their offense, and get back to being disciplined. You look at their shot chart, and they haven't made 1 shot, nor have they gone to the basket. You see Stockton and Malone back in the game right now, trying to generate some offense.
Pretty decent breather for Karl. Chicago doesn't have a field goal in this fourth quarter either. Just 2 Pippen free throws to close to within a point. And we played 3 minutes and 15 seconds now. Here's Kukoc. Stockton on Michael. Jumper over John. The bank is closed on that one. Kukoc wins the battle for the loose ball. It's Kerr outside for 3. Anderson takes the rebound on a bounce. Phil Jackson again going with Kerr rather than Harper in the fourth quarter of a close game. Inside Malone. He was fouled. There still has not been a field goal scored by either team. We've played almost 4 minutes of the fourth quarter.
It's that favorite rip screen play. You're going to see Michael Jordan waiting to try to go for the steal, and he reaches in there at the last moment. But that's that little rip screen play to bring Karl Malone to the post. He's got to take his time now. If he gets fouled, free throws could be crucial as we come down the stretch the way teams are shooting.
Michael's foul was his first. .16 for Malone.
And when you look at those numbers by Karl Malone, what's impressive to me is that in the first round, he went through Hakeem Olajuwon and Charles Barkley and Kevin Willis. In the second round, he went through Tim Duncan and David Robinson. In the third round in the conference finals, he beat Shaquille O'Neal. And right now, he's trying to go through Michael Jordan.
He makes 1 of 2, and Utah leads by 2. Can the Jazz win again on their home floor without the usual contribution from the mailman? Rodman shoots from the head of the key and connects. Even he has to say, hey, go figure.
Now, Chicago has been in 4 straight road games like this in the playoffs and have lost all of them. Can they find a way to win this one to even the series?
All winnable games on the road, and all of them in the L column for Chicago. And another foul on Michael.
Now you watch Rodman here. Now Rodman's a pretty good straight-on shooter when he gets himself set. He can knock this shot down. Doesn't take it a lot, but you look at the rotation in the forearm on the basketball. Doesn't shoot it much, but he says, thank you right there.
After 4.5 minutes of the quarter, the only field goal belongs to Rodman on a 20-foot jumper. Poked away, and Jordan has it. Chicago looks to take the lead. Michael. And he was fouled. It's Eisley who raises his hand. Following the game on most of these NBC stations, your local news, then The Tonight Show. For those of you who'd like to continue with coverage of the NBA, we'll have a post-game special on CNBC immediately following the game. Our entire cast will be here to review the contest along with highlights and stats. That's on CNBC. Morris knocks it out of bounds away from Kukoc. And with 6:53 on the clock, we step aside. Back to Salt Lake City in a minute. Something short of a scoring spree in this fourth quarter. 6:53 left. Tied at 74.
Rodman has made some great hustle plays for the Bulls in this second half, and they're going to need this from him. Luke Longley has 5 fouls. They're going to need him guard Malone. Extra shot opportunities for your team so you can shoot a lower percentage. He wrestles it away. Burrell misses the 3. Look at the hustle, and he gets it back once again. And on this one, he even surprised himself with the open jumper to tie the game at 74. But they're going to need that kind of play from Rodman against Malone as we finish this game.
Generally, he has not fared well against Karl. Did have 14 rebounds in a Chicago loss at home in January. Only 4 rebounds here at the Delta Center later in the year. In both games, Malone put up big numbers, points and rebounds. Here's Steve Kerr, an open 3. It rattles in and out. Pippen clears the offensive glass. Kukoc is open, but gives it back to Scottie for the turnaround, and he gets the roll.
Utah has got to rebound. That's the first field goal of the quarter for Chicago. Excuse me, the second field goal of the quarter.
Here is Stockton. Malone screening for him. John into the lane, but there's a Utah foul. And if that's Malone on an illegal screen, it's his 5th. Yup, it is.
Now you watch Karl Malone, as Steve Kerr goes underneath the screen. Malone will run right into Steve Kerr, and Steve Kerr takes the offensive foul. But right now for Utah, when you're at home in a game 2, trying to defend in the playoffs, when it gets to the 6-minute mark, and if this game is close, all the pressure is on you right now.
Hornacek is on Jordan. Michael double pumps and hits off the glass. Jordan with 26.
Jerry Sloan's going to come back in with Bryon Russell. Right now, Utah needs a basket desperately.
See, Chicago right now senses the kill.
Malone had a wide open jump shot and clanged it off the back iron, which has been his story. With just a couple of exceptions in game 1, it's been his story throughout the series so far. Malone is 5 for 15 from the floor after shooting 9 of 25 in game 1.
And see, I think you have to give Dennis Rodman credit right now. Everybody's been talking about him, but defensively, he shut Malone down so far.
But that one was just a wide open miss. Pippen to Michael with the shot clock winding down against Hornacek. Michael's going to do it. 2 defenders, a whistle, count the basket, plus the foul, as Jerry Sloan contends from the bench that Michael traveled. It's the 4th foul on Hornacek. Now, how can you guard a guy any tighter than this? You got 2 defenders over there. You make him take the shot you really want him to take, and he just hits it.
See, Bob, Michael Jordan understands right now that it's time. It's time to put on the push right now, and he's going after it right now. And can Utah stop the adrenaline and the push that Jordan is getting ready to exert in this game?
Utah led by 3 at the quarter. They scored just 1 point in the 4th period, which is more than halfway through, and they trail now by 7. Malone, Russell, wide open, hits the 3.
What a big shot by Bryon Russell.
Kerr looking for Michael. Michael looking for the hoop. Rodman grabs it. Another offensive rebound for Chicago. Jerry Sloan hands on hips in front of the Utah bench. Malone now is on Jordan.
They better help him. He's got 5 fouls.
Russell comes over. Michael into the lane. Left hand. Got it. Taking this game over now.
All of that because of second shot hustle by Dennis Rodman. He got him another possession and gave him 20 more seconds on that score.
And on that layup, Doug, Malone couldn't come over and help because he had 5 fouls.
Now Rodman and Malone hit the deck. And it's 5 on Dennis.
This is how you win championships. Rodman comes up with a second shot, just beating 2 Utah Jazz defenders to the board. And here's Michael Jordan with that surge that Isaiah talked about, finishing with his left hand to put his team up 6 points once again.
Now that Chicago has a 6-point lead, you see Harper in for Kerr for defense. Stockton around Harper. Outside to Hornacek. Into the lane. Contact and a foul. Rodman was in the vicinity. Let's see. It's Harper who's hit with the personal. That's his first.
Bob, what you're seeing now on the screen roll, they're going to push John Stockton to the baseline, and Scottie Pippen is going to run at him into a trap. So the weak side is going to be open. They'll have 2 shooters there, but can Stockton see the floor well enough out of the double team to find on the weak side of the floor?
Now, Jordan has put on a burst of energy, and right now, Doug, it's like a distance runner. When you put on that burst of energy, the thing that Jordan must be concerned about is, do you have enough to finish? Can you get all the way to the finish line?
In this 4th quarter, he's 3 of 5, reversing the trend of relatively poor 4th quarter shooting the last 6 games. Hornacek makes them both. Longley comes back in. He's got 5 fouls. Rodman to the bench with his 5 fouls. Jordan, Russell on him, fires over him. Kukoc back taps it to Pippen.
Another second shot, Bob. We've talked about the offensive rebounding of Chicago in game 1, only 9. If the Jazz do not win this game, their second shots are going to kill them. 16 offensive rebounds for Chicago tonight. Jordan on the run, dishes out to Pippen. Scottie baseline. Chicago by 6. Every time you give up a second shot, you give a team multiple shots, but more importantly, they're burning clock. 40 seconds every time down. 21 for Pippen. Stockton to Russell. Russell on the move. Nice feed to Shandon Anderson, and this could be a 3-point play, which would cut the lead in half just like that. Bryon Russell with great dribble penetration. He beats Kukoc on the baseline. The Bulls are taught to give help, but no one rotates and helps Scottie Pippen. Pippen gets the foul, the 3-point opportunity. You're watching the NBA on NBC. Toni Kukoc is going to be here on the offensive boards. He's going to tip the ball back to give the Bulls another shot at scoring once again. And here's what happens. They burn some clock. Michael Jordan penetrates. And he's going to find his old buddy Scottie Pippen in the corner, who shot fakes. Medium range jump shot. And he pushes the Bulls into a 6-point lead. Now as we resume, Shandon Anderson trying to complete a 3-point play. 2 of 2 at the line tonight. 74% for the season. But he misses it. Here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. During that timeout, Steve Kerr just suffered a thigh contusion. He iced it down during that timeout, but as you can see, he's still out on the court trying to go with it. Bob?
Where possible, Phil Jackson is going with situational substitutions. Harper for defense. Kerr when the Bulls have the ball. Jordan exposed to the hoop. The reverse isn't there. Malone saves it in. Here comes Russell. Flipping to Stockton. Anderson on his right. Shandon Anderson misses it. Loose ball. Cleaned by Russell. He finds Anderson. And this time Anderson is fouled. I'll tell you what. First of all, that's 6 on Longley, and that's the most important thing. So Rodman's going to have to come back in with 5, unless they should go to Wennington, which seems unlikely. But this Shandon Anderson, he will take it into some traffic. You see him right here. He's just going to give his body up. He knows it's going to be a foul. Now what he's got to do, he's got to compose himself and make the free throws. Luke Longley did what you're supposed to do. Even though he fouled out, you can't give up a layup here at this stage of the game. Longley played just 17 minutes because of foul trouble, and there you see his relatively meager numbers. Rodman in with 5 fouls. Anderson missed at the line a moment ago, but not this time. See, Bob, what will happen here is you see the fourth quarter free throw shooting by the Jazz. You see Anderson is well down the list with 57%. Anderson has not shot free throws nearly as well in the playoffs as he did during the regular season when he was a 74% man. See, the Bulls are sending all 5 guys to the boards right now. So if the Jazz can stop them and rebound, they can run, something they have not been able to do the entire game.
You see, right now the Jazz have Hornacek out on the floor, and they'll try to exploit him.
And a whistle as Chicago brings it to the front court. Jeff Hornacek now has 5. Utah had 1 foul to give. The Bulls are already over the limit, and Utah will join them there with their next foul. Michael behind a Rodman screen. Russell fights it off. Jordan forces the shot and misses it. Utah can tie it. It's Stockton. Hornacek for 3. Utah has the lead.
Michael Jordan 3 for 8 in the fourth period, and you're going to see being forced into a very difficult shot. Bryon Russell with excellent defense. He gets a hand up. Michael falls down on the shot, and the Jazz, when they rebound, can now run. They're playing 5-on-4. Here's Michael Jordan right here. So they're 5-on-4. Michael cannot get back into the play. Stockton realizes it. He pushes it up the floor. Hornacek trails in from behind. And Hornacek with the big three that gives his team a 1-point lead.
Hornacek at age 35, aching Achilles and all, 20 points, 15 of them in the second half. And Utah has hit 7 of 10 three-pointers tonight, after making none in 8 attempts in game 1. Jordan dips inside on Russell and slings it out to Kukoc. Left unattended, he misses the 3. Rodman, a huge board. And Kerr has it.
When you're double teaming, you got to rebound.
Pippen bumping with Hornacek. A minute 20 to play. Pippen's shot isn't there, and Malone will take it. Utah by 1. Stockton directing traffic. Kerr has to guard him. Stockton gets by him, but his pass is intercepted by Kukoc. Kerr, pull up 3. No, got his own rebound. Michael hits it, and Chicago reclaims the lead. There's a foul as well. What a sequence.
Again, Bob, I can't say enough. Kerr, watch Kerr shoot this ball. Nobody blocks him out. He gets it back, the smallest player on the floor, and finds Michael Jordan, who gets fouled and is going to get a 3-point play opportunity here to put his team up 2.
And you see Malone couldn't be aggressive right there because he had 5 fouls, so he had to lay back off the play.
Michael Jordan has taken 33 shots to score 34 points. But what's important is that his team now leads by a basket, moving down toward 40 seconds. Stockton. Russell out of the corner. Stockton thought about a 3. Pippen is on him. 6 seconds to shoot. Malone will. And he'll miss another one. Rodman grabs the rebound and asks for time.
See, Malone needed to recognize that he had the mismatch with Kukoc, and instead of taking him outside, he should have rolled right into the post so he can use his strength and go up and score. But they baited him again into the jump shot.
Malone is 5 of 16 from the floor after 9 of 25 in game 1. At what point does this become a psychological obstacle, if it isn't already?
See, I think Dennis Rodman right now and this whole group of Chicago has baited Malone. You see he has Kukoc guarding him. He should be inside instead of outside. Shoots the J, and he's not able to finish. Rodman underneath comes up with the rebound.
Malone 0 for 4 from the field in the second half. If you want more basketball, switch over to CNBC on the cable side after the game for the post-game report. Now, Rodman got the rebound and asked for timeout. 23.4 on the game clock, 23 on the shot clock. For all practical purposes, they're identical, and that means that unless Chicago turns it over, Utah has to foul.
And you see Wennington in the game now for Rodman.
And Kerr is immediately fouled by Morris. Just about the last guy you want to send to the line. Actually, he's had a few misses in the playoffs, but usually he's an 85 to 90% guy from the line.
Well, right now, Steve Kerr has made the biggest play of this game with that offensive rebound and the play to Michael Jordan. The Bulls had 6 offensive rebounds in the fourth quarter for 8 points.
Chicago by 3. Scottie Pippen was bent over a moment ago in some sort of discomfort. That's Chip Schaefer, their trainer. Wennington and Kukoc out. Rodman is among those coming back in as they make an offense and defense switch. Pippen apparently is nauseous, but he's going to stay in the game. It's Utah feeling a bit nauseous now after Kerr hits them both to give Chicago a 4-point lead with 19.5 on the clock. And we're back after these messages, plus a word from your local station.
Now Phil Jackson not taking any chances, got Harper in the game to guard Stockton.
Russell trying to get it in. Stockton slipped and Harper cut in front of him and stole it to Rodman. They'll burn some clock. They got to chase him and foul him. And Stockton whacks Jordan. Well, the Chicago Bulls had lost 4 consecutive close playoff games on the road. 3 at Market Square in Indianapolis. The first one here, all winnable games. It looks like they'll reverse that and get even going back to Chicago.
Ron Harper came up with a big steal there because if he would have been called for the foul, really no time would have elapsed off the clock. Stockton makes 2 free throws. It's a 2-point game still with 19.5 seconds to go. So that was a big steal and a big no call there with Harper coming over his left side trying to get the steal which he got.
You know, Phil Jackson gambled the other night and he had Steve Kerr guarding Stockton. This time he learned and he brought Harper in, and it looks like Chicago is going to come out of here with a victory tonight.
Chicago by 5 with 14.5 on the clock. 1 of 2, 35 points for Jordan. Timeout Utah. Well, Karl Malone cumulatively is 14 for 41, 9 of 25 game 1, 5 of 16 tonight, 34%, 37 points in the 2 games. In a sense, then, you could say that if in fact Chicago wins, Utah's lucky to get a split. But that's not how Karl Malone will be thinking about it on that plane to Chicago, because the next 3 are all at the United Center.
Well, Bob, what Chicago has done, they've done a great job getting in passing lanes with their length, making it very difficult to throw that ball into the post. Rodman, Longley, everybody who's played him have circled him. They made it difficult for him to catch it. He's given up his space on the post and stepped out, and he just has not been able to make that little medium-range jump shot. And the Bulls came up with a big plays tonight when they have needed them. That offensive rebound by Kerr after he missed the 3 was gigantic, because now he finds Michael Jordan for a 3-point play, and instead of the Jazz having the ball with an opportunity to go back down the floor and go up 3, they get a 2-point lead.
Now Malone has had a very tough night, and you gotta wonder, why doesn't he go inside? You see him shooting jump shots, not using his quickness, not using his strength, and he's shooting all J's. They baited him into a jump shooting game, and the Karl Malone that I know loves to pound it inside, likes to get inside.
And how about this? As we look at the leading scorers, let's turn our attention to rebounding. Dennis Rodman did not have a single rebound in 11 minutes in the first half, but he has 9 rebounds in the second half, 5 of them on the offensive glass. Most of it with Luke Longley glued to the bench because of foul trouble, and eventually Longley fouled out. Rodman himself has 5 fouls.
Now it's still a 2-possession game for Utah. There was a big miss by Jordan. If Utah can get a bucket and a quick foul, they're still in this basketball game.
Russell to inbound. Hornacek, Jordan on him, forces the 3 and barely misses it. The rebound is taken by Kukoc, who's immediately fouled, and that may close the door on the Jazz. Let's take a look at what's ahead. Showtime at 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, and therefore 4 Pacific on Sunday night. Next 3 games in Chicago. Sunday, Wednesday, Friday format throughout the finals. And if a 6th and 7th are required, they're back here at the Delta Center. But apparently Utah will have to win at least once in Chicago in order to bring it back here. They did win the only regular season game between the 2 teams at the United Center.
Bob, I remember when we went to Los Angeles and won one game, and we split, and the Lakers came back and beat us in Detroit in that game 3. So that game 3 is a pivotal game for Utah because that's a game that they can go in and get.
Well, Kukoc, looking to retain what suspense remains in this game, misses them both.
Well, Scottie Pippen gave him 8 points in the second half. Michael Jordan 21, so 29 combined by the two guys. But I go back to the offensive rebounding. That was really the difference. Pippen with a great all-round game. Chicago 18 offensive rebounds. But more importantly, they got him at crucial times, Bob, when they were forced into maybe a tough miss. Somebody dug it out. They got it back. They got a new possession, used some clock, and got a score. That breaks you down mentally as a team. You play good initial defense, and you must rebound the ball. 7-point difference on the offensive boards. It's a 5-point game right now. Those are the little plays that beat you in playoffs.
And when you talk about rebounding, Dennis Rodman, 9 big rebounds in the second half.
And here's Ahmad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Phil Jackson very seriously telling his team this is a horrible situation that we've put ourselves in, a very dangerous situation. We've had 3 foul shots. We've missed all of them. Let's go out here and try to end this game and get out of this situation rather than celebrating. Bob?
Utah has hit, Ahmad, 7 out of 11 3-pointers. And one of their misses was a half-court heave by Russell at the end of a quarter.
And it's still a 2-possession game for Utah. You know, 2 threes, and you score 6 points, you can actually win this game if Chicago can't make their free throws.
Russell, again the trigger man, having trouble. Malone, now Russell gets it back. Good look at a 3, and it rattles in and out. Morris follows with 3.7 seconds, making it a 3-point game. Now the Bulls have to get it in, and knowing they have a timeout remaining, Rodman uses it. Now each team has only a 20-second timeout left. And this is a 20. This is a 20, so Chicago retains its full timeout.
Isaiah, what I want to watch tonight, if Chicago does win this game, hold on and win this game, what will Utah's body language be as they walk off this floor? The series is 1-1. They're a very good road team. What's their body language going to be? I think that's going to say a lot about when they go to Chicago, what they're going to feel like going into that United Center.
But, Doug, you're looking at John Stockton right now, and all you need is a steal. He's the steals leader in history in a quick 3. He's capable of doing it, so this game isn't over yet.
Harper into Jordan. Russell pushed him. They didn't get the first call. Then Stockton makes contact with 1.7, and they whistle play dead and send Michael to the line. And Sloan is arguing that he was fouled the first time.
Well, if he makes one of these free throws, the game is over. That'll be a 4-point lead with 1.7 seconds to go. Utah only has a 20-second timeout. They can't advance the ball. Right there, Brian Russell said he pushed him right there. That was sort of a, if you were in flag football, maybe you would get that call, but you're not going to get that right now.
Jordan at the line where he's hit 7 of 8. He's 14 of 33 from the field and has 35 points. That ices it.
See, I believe you win with guards, and Chicago's guards have totally dominated this game tonight.
Here's another determining factor. Utah 20 turnovers to Chicago's 7. 37 for Michael. Stockton from half court. Chicago comes into Salt Lake City, weary or not, and gets out with a split. Michael Jordan is with Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Bob. Michael, you guys were so confident coming in here tonight in this game, and you said if all the pressure on the game two was really on Utah. How was that so?
Well, I mean, you know, we were just trying to get one win. You know, we played extremely well the first game, and it was just a matter of executing down the stretch. And I'm pretty sure they realized that they wanted to come out and play better. It was on their it's pressure on them to come out and play a lot better. We know we didn't play particularly well, and we had an opportunity. Fourth quarter, and we basically executed, went to the free throw line, knocked their free throws down, and defensively we held tough.
When you talk about game-to-game adjustments, you guys seem to make the adjustments tonight, or was it just better overall play?
I think it was better overall play. We had a feeler in terms of what they wanted to do, and defensively, I think we stayed solid, and we really didn't let the screen and roll hurt us as much as they normally do, and I think we pounded the boards very well.
Improve your confidence going into Game 3?
Our confidence has been very strong. I think the pressure is really not on us, and it's on them. Now the pressure may shift to us because we're going back home and we have to defend our home court, and we got to go back and play well.
All right, congratulations, Michael. Sure. All right, let's go over to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you very much, Ahmad. A very effective night for Dennis Rodman tonight. In the second half, 9 rebounds, 9 on the game. You held Karl Malone to 5 for 16 from the field. Why were you so effective against Karl this evening?
Well, I think they let us play tonight. If they let me play, I can play Karl Malone any day of the week. But they just started calling the touchy fouls. It won't let me get in my groove. I was out of my sync in the first half, but the second half I came out. I said, I got to play basketball. Quit worrying about everything else.
Now, so much has been made of your trip to Las Vegas and the distraction of you not being on the bench. How much of a distraction has this been to your teammates, Dennis?
It's amazing how the media and the newspaper people try to just blow this out of proportion. And the people in the organization for the Bulls and my team, they know that this is the way I can keep motivated. But I'm not doing anything that's wrong. As long as I'm here doing my job on time and this and that. When I'm out off the bench, I'm out there riding the bike trying to get loose. And I'm 37 years old. I'm not a young man anymore.
You're going to do whatever you want to do anyway, right?
Absolutely.
All right. Bob, back to you.
I guess that's clear by now. Utah in the fourth quarter, in the face of tough Chicago defense, of which Rodman was an important part, hit just 4 of 15. That's 27%. They were held to 15 points. They led by 3 going into the quarter, but Chicago comes from behind on the road to turn this into a best-of-5 series now. Game 3 of the NBA Finals begins on Sunday, 7 Eastern with showtime. Tip-off at 7:30 Eastern Time. Coming up next, for most of you, your late local news, then an all-new Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Jay welcomes Jonathan Winters, musical guest Natalie Imbruglia, plus Kevin Meaney reports from right here in Salt Lake City and the NBA Finals. And for those of you who'd like to continue with coverage of the basketball, interviews and post-game activities available on CNBC after these messages. For Isaiah Thomas, Doug Collins, Jim Gray, and Ahmad Rashad, I'm Bob Costas. This has been the NBA on NBC.